Love big ideas in small doses? Hit subscribe. This is Thrive Thoughts. Let's unlock your peak potential.
Welcome to the deep dive. Many of you listening are probably already thinking about focus. Maybe you've even picked up Cal Newport's book, Deep Work. Today, we're aiming to go a bit further, really dig into how you can reclaim that focus. It's tough, right? The world seems designed for distraction, but there is a powerful way to work and maybe even live differently. We're diving deep into deep work. It really is a modern classic, a kind of battle plan if you've ever felt super busy but not actually productive.
Oh, definitely. Or just overwhelmed by all the digital noise.
Exactly. Or, maybe just feeling that burnout creeping in.
Yeah.
So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We want to pull out the most crucial, most impactful bits from Newport's work. Think of it as a shortcut, maybe, to unlocking that peak potential we all have just through focused effort. Okay, so let's dive right in. That feeling of being busy but not getting stuff done, it's so common. Cal Newport has this specific idea to counter it. So at its core, what is deep work?
Right. Newport gives us a really clear definition. He says it's professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit.
Okay, distraction-free concentration. Pushing your limits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about truly engaging your brain, like full on, no interruptions, on the stuff that's actually challenging and adds real value.
That makes sense. But here's a question. What about those times when we feel like we're concentrating? Is there a trap there? Like, say I'm writing a really complex email. That takes focus, right? Is that still what he calls shallow work? Even if it feels, demanding.
That's a really good point, and it gets right to that crucial difference Newport talks about. Shallow work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might need some focus, but it doesn't really build new skills in the long run. It doesn't create that lasting, unique value. It's often stuff someone else could do, It won't dramatically shift your career.
Okay.
Deep work, though. That's where the real learning happens, the innovation. It's where you become uniquely valuable. That's the key distinction.
But, it sounds great, this deep work. So why is it so few of us actually manage to do it consistently, even when we sort of know it's good for us?
Yeah.
There must be something else going on, right? Something about how we work now, our culture,
Yeah.
that makes it so rare, but also, as you're saying, so important.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And Newport digs into this. He argues that to really succeed, especially now, you need two core abilities.
Okay, why are they?
First, the ability to learn hard things quickly, master complex stuff.
Right.
And second, the ability to produce at a really high level. Elite level, he calls it, both in quality and speed.
Okay, learn fast, produce top quality work fast.
Yes. And here's the kicker. Both of those things absolutely demand deep, undistracted focus. You just can't do them effectively otherwise. And that brings us right back to why deep work is so rare and, so valuable. Think about it. I saw this stat. The average knowledge worker switches tasks, every 3 minutes?
Well, 3 minutes.
Yeah. And then it takes something like 23 minutes to fully get back into focus after you've been interrupted. Our work environment isn't just a little distracting. It's actively like chopping up our attention span.
That's sobering.
It is. And our culture, it often rewards the quick reply, being constantly available, the open office plan.
Right, the appearance of being busy.
Exactly. It creates this perfect storm that actually stops deep concentration. So when you look at the big picture, being able to concentrate deeply isn't just a nice skill to have. It's becoming rare. It's like a superpower, almost. It gives you this unfair advantage, as Newport puts it.
An unfair advantage. I like that. Okay, so we get what it is. We get why it's powerful. But the million-dollar question is always how, right? How do we actually build this skill when, like you said, the world seems set up to tear it down? Newport gives us 4 rules, kind of like a blueprint. Let's start with rule 1, work deeply. How do we actually do that consistently? Especially if, say, your job expects you to be available all the time or you're stuck in an open office. Is this realistic for everyone?
It absolutely is, I think, but it does take real intention. You can't just passively hope it happens. The key, Newport says, is building rituals, establishing a consistent routine for deep work.
Rituals? Like what?
Well, it means consciously identifying and removing the things that usually pull you off track, those triggers. For instance, he talks about scheduling specific blocks of time, say 90 minutes.
Okay.
And during that block, 0 notifications, phone off or away. No email tab open, and absolutely no multitasking.
90 minutes of pure focus. That sounds intense. What about those open offices or demanding jobs?
Yeah, that's where you need to get creative.
Yeah.
Maybe it means booking a quiet conference room for those blocks.
Yeah.
Maybe it's noise-canceling headphones as a clear signal. Maybe it's scheduling your deep work for early morning or late afternoon when interruptions are fewer. The point is finding or creating that uninterrupted space for intense focus wherever and however you can.
Okay, requires some planning and discipline, which leads perfectly into rule 2. Embrace boredom. Now that sounds completely backwards in our world, doesn't it? How does letting yourself be bored help you work deeply?
It does sound counterintuitive, yeah. But it's less about being bored and more about retraining your brain. It's like a workout for your focus muscle.
How so?
Well, think about how often we reach for our phone or open a new tab. The second we have a free moment, we get that little dopamine hit, right? Constant stimulation.
Guilty as charged.
We all are.
Yeah.
Embracing boredom means resisting that impulse. It's about being okay with just thinking or waiting or doing nothing for a minute without instantly seeking distraction. It's like a digital detox that helps your brain remember how to sustain focus without needing that constant external buzz. It strengthens your concentration by making it work without the easy outs.
I know exactly what you mean. I'll be trying to write something important, and like 5 minutes in, my hand just reaches for my phone without even thinking. It's like I've been rewired.
That's it, exactly. That's the rewiring Newport's talking about fighting.
Which brings us to rule 3. Quit social media. Okay, hold on. Does he really mean quit everything? Cold turkey. Because realistically, for a lot of people, social media isn't just scrolling cat videos, it's networking. It's part of their business. How does that work?
Right. It's probably the most controversial rule, and he clarifies it. It's not necessarily about deleting every single account for everyone. It's more about adopting what he calls the craftsman approach to tools.
The craftsman approach.
Yeah. So think of a craftsman, like a woodworker. They choose their tools very carefully.
Right.
They only use the tools that directly help them produce high-quality work. They don't just collect every tool imaginable.
Okay, makes sense.
So apply that to social media or any digital tool. Only adopt and use the platforms that serve a clearly defined goal that significantly benefits your professional or maybe even your personal life. You don't use Twitter just because everyone else is or because you're bored. You ask, does this tool provide a substantial net benefit towards something important? If not, maybe you should quit it. It's about being incredibly intentional, not just reactive.
Intentional use, not habitual use. Okay, that feels more nuanced and actionable. That craftsman analogy helps. But even if we're working deeply, embracing boredom, being smart about tools, we still have stuff to do, right? The emails, the meetings, the updates. The necessary but maybe lower value tasks, how does Newport suggest we handle those?
That's rule 4. Drain the shallows.
Exactly, drain the shallows. The idea here isn't to eliminate shallow work entirely. Some of it is unavoidable, obviously. It's about aggressively minimizing it.
No.
You start by auditing how you actually spend your time. Be honest about what's shallow versus deep. Then you actively look for ways to cut down that shallow work. Can you batch process your emails? Check them only twice a day instead of constantly.
Yeah.
Can you delegate some tasks? Can you be more ruthless about saying no to meetings that don't have a clear agenda or purpose? Can you shorten the meetings you do have? It's about scheduling your shallow tasks, too, so they don't bleed into your potential deep work time. Basically, treat your time and attention as finite, valuable resources and protect them from low-impact noise. Okay, so we've got the 4 rules. Work deeply, embrace boredom, quit social media, or use the craftsman approach, and drain the shallows. Now, let's really bring this home. What does this mean for you listening right now in your actual daily life? Let's get super practical. How can someone start applying this maybe even tomorrow?
Okay, yeah, practical steps. A really great place to start is time blocking. We mentioned scheduling deep work, but Newport suggests blocking out your entire day.
The whole day, every hour.
Pretty much. Give every hour a job. This doesn't mean you're working nonstop, but you decide in advance. 9, 10.30 deep work on project X, 10.30, 11, coffee break, walk, 11:12 answer emails, 12:1 lunch, and so on. Even schedule relaxation or buffer time for unexpected things. It sounds rigid, but it actually gives you control over your time instead of just reacting to whatever comes up. It makes sure deep work actually gets prioritized.
So you're telling your time where to go instead of wondering where it went.
Exactly. And another really powerful practical tip is the shutdown ritual.
Ah, yes, I've heard about this. It sounds almost formal. Tell us about it.
It kind of is, but it works. At the very end of your workday, take a few minutes, review any emails you need to see, check your task list, make sure any urgent things are noted or dealt with. Then, crucially, make a plan for tomorrow. What are you tackling first? Once you've done that, you explicitly say, maybe just to yourself, maybe out loud, shut down complete.
You actually say the words.
Newport does. You might feel a bit silly at first, but he swears by it. It acts like a signal to your brain. Okay, work thinking is done for the day. It helps you mentally switch off, preventing those work thoughts from constantly intruding on your evening and allowing for proper rest, which is vital for the next day's deep work.
That actually sounds incredibly helpful, to properly disengage.
It really is. Another thing is to actually track your deep work hours. Get a notebook or use an app. Aim for maybe 3 or 4 hours of real, focused, deep work each day. Just seeing that number, tracking your progress, it can become quite motivating. Almost addictive in a good way. You start wanting to beat your previous record.
Like a fitness tracker for your brain. I like that. Now, what about when to do deep work? I hear a lot about mornings being the best time. Is that a universal thing or just preference?
There's definitely a strategic reason for it. Those schedules vary. For most people, your willpower and mental energy are highest earlier in the day, before decision fatigue sets in.
Right. Makes sense.
So that makes your mornings, generally, your golden hours for deep work. You're freshest, most alert, best equipped to tackle those really demanding cognitive tasks. So if you can, protect those morning hours fiercely. Front load your day with your most important deep work.
Protect the golden hours. Got it. But, we've talked a lot about productivity, getting more done, being valuable. Is that all there is to it? Or does adopting this deep work mindset have a bigger impact? Why does this really change your life beyond just, ticking off more tasks?
That's a fantastic question because it goes so much deeper than just productivity hacks. There's this really powerful line from Newport's work that sticks with me. A deep life is a good life.
A deep life is a good life.
Yeah. It suggests that deep work isn't just about output. It's fundamentally about finding meaning and satisfaction in what you do. When you consistently eliminate distraction, when you truly focus your mind and push your skills, you start producing work you're genuinely proud of. Work that has depth, work that makes a real contribution. And that feeling, that sense of craftsmanship and accomplishment is deeply rewarding. It makes you feel valuable, irreplaceable even.
So it's not just about doing more, it's about the quality of what you do and how that makes you feel. You write better stuff, you think more deeply, you solve harder problems, you actually grow faster professionally and maybe personally too.
Exactly. And it's crucial to distinguish this from, say, hustle culture. This isn't about working 24/7.
Right.
It's about working intensely on things that matter and then properly resting and disengaging. It's about craftsmanship, dedicating yourself to excellence, and finding that profound satisfaction in the process, not just the outcome.
That really shifts the perspective. It's about meaning as much as output. But I wonder, could this intense focus lead to its own kind of burnout, always pushing to be deep? Is there a risk there? How do you balance that intensity?
That's a fair point, and Newport absolutely emphasizes the importance of rest. It's not about nonstop deep work. The shutdown ritual we talked about is key to that. He stresses the need for intense, focused periods followed by genuine downtime where your brain can recover. It's quality over quantity. The deep work makes your leisure time feel more earned, more relaxing because you know you've done meaningful work. It's the constant low-level, fragmented attention that often leads to burnout, not necessarily intense focus followed by real rest.
Okay, that balance is critical then. Intense focus, then true recovery. All right, let's wrap this up with a challenge for everyone listening. Try this tomorrow. Block out just 90 minutes. Seriously, phone off or in another room. No Wi-Fi, maybe, if you can manage it. Close all those extra tabs and just focus purely on your single most important task for that day. Just experience what that feels like.
Yeah, just notice the difference. And think about that satisfaction we mentioned, the feeling that comes from really engaging your mind purposefully. It's not just about getting more done. Reflect on how that focused effort impacts your sense of accomplishment, your quality of work, maybe even your overall quality of life.
So here's the final thought to mull over. How might deliberately creating these pockets of deep, undistracted concentration not only change what you produce, but also profoundly enrich your sense of purpose and fulfillment in everything you do?